Hello! In today's video, I'll talk a bit about what I want to do with my channel, and the sort of content I want to make, during which I'll explore with only using a hard-edged brush with an opacity jitter. So let's just get the canvas ready. I'm going to do a bit of a bigger one than my normal custom size, and I'll go with a nice mid-tone. There you go. A nice long name for a file. The best kind. The reason I decided to try experimenting with this sort of brush is because of a video by a YouTube channel which I like quite a bit called Cynic's Design, and in that video he talks a bit about how you don't really need the other brushes and it's more important to focus on the form and the shapes that you're making pleasing shapes. I'm pretty bad at it, but I was pretty happy with an earlier file when I was exploring it yesterday, and I'll show you some of the things there. This was just using the brush and experimenting a bit, because I hadn't really used a brush with a jitter that affected the opacity. I always just used the shape and size jitter. Don't even know what those were, but I was just experimenting. I liked these. They turned out pretty good. The shading. Something I did like quite a bit, and what I want to try and do again today is do some eyes, because I was pretty happy with how this turned out. And then I just experimented with it, added a bit more shine on that one. But back to working on this. Might actually just start with face. Ooh. When you accidentally work on the lower brush. So fun. Let's just go into that layer and just sketch out the face. I'll make it a little bit smaller. Okay. Also a face to do. Just give him a big nose. I really need to practice on my faces more. He looks kind of sad. Let's make that more of his design. This will just be my rough. I'll try and tidy it up when I'm done. Figure out his proportions. How to make him look so. Yeah, that's pretty good for making him look sad. I feel sorry for this guy. I'm so bad. Let's just give him a comb to each side. And just some poking out ears. Okay, how's his neck going? Give him a hood. And yeah, pretty happy with that. Might make it a little bigger. Okay, time to tidy this up, lower the opacity a bit on this, and zoom in a bit. Okay, let's see these brows. Yeah, using opacity jitter on brush, a hard edge brush, doesn't really change things for me when I'm just doing the outlines, but it's rendering and adding the color and lighting that just I'm at a loss at what to do. But time to talk a bit about the channel. I want to make a channel sort of focused on my art and animations, which I really need to work on. I've been sort of procrastinating. I'd say the sort of inspiration or like the guiding sort of format of videos and content that I'm basing or want to achieve with my channel are from 3 different YouTubers: Draw with Jitter, The Art of Aaron Blaze, and Cynic's Design, which I just mentioned before. And I'll probably put the video that got me interested in experimenting with this in the description below. The dweezy ears. Just giving myself blocky ears. Very sticking out. Ears are complicated. I really need to just practice drawing a bunch of ears at some stage. Should totally do a video just on me drawing ears. I just sketch in this nose. Pretty happy with that nose actually. Hopefully it looks a bit better once I've added shading a bit. Robert caricature face this is. This guy's cheekbones a bit more prominent. And getting his jaw. And his chin. I might just speed up the rest of this outlining and stuff, and then continue when I get to adding the color. Okay, let's add some local color to this. How sort of skin tone should he have? Let's just start with this, I guess. And I'll just not worry too much about staying in the lines. I'll change those colors later. Let's see. Probably gonna have to make his ears a bit redder, just because of the way that light will be shining through them when I'm done with this. The light will actually, yeah, I'll have it coming in over from his left shoulder and probably highlighting his face a bit. The hair, let's make it just a dark brown for now. And just give him a blue jump. Okay, nearly done getting the local color done. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm just gonna lock its colors. And what that means is I can only draw where color has been before, which is useful for shading, and especially since I'm not used to using just a hard-edged opacity jitter brush. I'd probably make a lot of mistakes otherwise. Let's set about giving him a little bit of shading, a bit of color variation. Face. Now, when drawing the face, it's a good idea to have a bit of color variation. Middle of the face is generally the reddest part, and forehead is a bit yellow. So let's see if we can work that in. Yeah, that's pretty good. Probably make the ears the reddest, and maybe the nose. And the chin on this guy is going to be like the bluest part of him, just sort of because of the I've just shaved recently, and so, you know, probably going to have to fix these colors up and make them a bit less prominent and contrasting, but it's a good base to work from, I think. And it's also just color in his eyes. Don't go all the way white when you do eyes, because that's not realistic. But, I mean, it always depends on your style. I'm trying to make this guy have a bit of a realistic but caricatured sort of look to him. Let me just add a bit of color variation for his neck as well. It just seems a bit too flat. You can get some interesting sort of shading with this sort of brush. It's not as I'm not used to this. Hopefully I can get better though, because I do like some of the effects you can get from doing this. Let's shade his nose in a bit redder. Or a lot. really make him seem like he's being a bit sad. Get a little bit of it. So purplish. Yeah. And let's get his lips a bit pinker. Or at least that lower one. And just like spread a bit of this pinkish hue around. Just to have a bit more variety. Not sure why this guy's so sad, but yeah. I'm finding it so hard not to just get a soft-edged brush. But I do find that using this really makes you have to focus on the shapes, and also just like if you're using a pad tablet like I am, how lightly you're touching it. It really just sort of makes you have to work a bit harder. And I think that's always a good thing. Just, might add a little bit of shading just to see what sort of look I'm going to give him. And also just to see how well you can shade with this brush. I'll make a new layer. And let me just quickly select this guy's color. Now work on that neck a bit more. It's just a bit all over the place. Okay, with the shadow, I like to use a multiply layer and just use a dark blue. So let's see, light's coming from over his shoulder. So that means I'm going to be doing the shadows. Oop, that's a bit too dark, but you can always just lower the opacity of the layer. Let's get some nice sharp sort of shadows going on here. It's got a pretty elongated neck, but I think that works with the sort of characteristic style that he's got going for him. And yeah, erase that shadow a little bit. Yeah, that's a bit better. Now for his face a bit more. And after I add the shadow, I'll do some lighting. Let's go with this nose, a bit of a cast shadow across the face. Maybe. Just really sort of get that little bridge of his nose visible. And a little bump. How's that shadow working? Might need just lower it down a bit. And again, I'll just get the eraser and try and lighten up these edges, make them blend a little bit more. Get a bit of shadow under his brows. Give him a little bit of a sunken sort of look to his eyes. Pretty happy with this so far, actually. I'm not sure how long I've been working on it, but I do need to work on more faces. I mainly work with just like sort of monsters and landscapes, but working with the human face is always interesting. There's a light bit of shadow there on that side. Maybe just putting the shadow over here. So if I highlight his shoulder there, make it a bit more visible. And what's it look like without the outlines actually? Whoa, that's actually interesting. Yeah. I might try and blend those in later, but right now, still experimenting with this brush. With my with the light, I generally just use the overlay type of layer, and let's give them a bit of a warm light. Let's see how that looks. Yeah, I like that. That's pretty good. And also just use it to further sort of outline the parts of his face, maybe a bit lighter. Oh yeah. Gonna have to work on my hair at some stage. So far, pretty happy with how this is turning out. Maybe get a bigger brush and very lightly add a bit of light here and there. This guy's got pretty extreme cheekbones going on here. Also just get his neck a bit more lit. Get that cast light visible. Just get Adam's apple a bit more prominent. And maybe go slightly faded red for jumper. This guy's had a rough night and now he's waking up. That's so fun game from this lighting anyway. It's just the sun streaming through his window. You know, let's just quickly get a few highlights in his hair. Just with a very small brush and a light color, I'll just add a few spots of shine on the nose, because the nose is quite shiny and produces a fair bit of oil. So it's always good to keep that in mind when you're coloring it and shading it. And also a little bit here. That area is generally pretty shiny. Let's give those ears a bit more of a reddish hue. I think they need it from the light streaming through them. Oh, let's see. What did I just do there? Ah. A bit more of a red. Ooh, that might be a bit too much, but let's see how far we can push it without it looking too unbelievable. Oh, that's pretty good. Yeah, work on the eyes, actually. Yeah. That's very good. Let's see how that looks from a distance. Yeah. Work on now. Let's give him a bit of a background, actually. Probably just a bit of a... And I'll see if I can get his eyes a bit... maybe like the lighting is coming through, sort of the shadows. Yeah, I think that's an okay background. Just a rough one, but just give a bit of context. Might darken the shadows of the room a bit. So yeah, the face done only on opacity, jitter on a hard edged brush. I think that's pretty okay, and I might call that an end to the video. Thanks for watching, and I should post the storyboard slash story reel concept art video pretty soon. Thanks for watching, and consider subscribing.